Hello everyone, and welcome to So Many Games So Little Time. My name is Joachim, and today we're going to do something new. This is the first episode of what kind of games are on my wish list. Now, I did a top 100 wish list before, but I never really followed through, and I got tired of it after a while. So what I've done now is, first some context. To make sure that I get the presents that I want from family members and so on who don't really know what to buy, I always make a list of what they can buy. So I need to make board game lists. So what did I do? I watched all kinds, every year, I watch all kind of top 100s on YouTube, or just, of course, keep up to date of the board games everywhere. And I made a list of everything that I wanted, which of course is way too much. So I had like 180 games. So what am I doing now? I want to share it with you, so maybe you'll find out some games, and I will randomly choose 5 every time. Okay, now, of course this list is fluid. By next time I might have already bought some or not, or some games might have been removed after I've chosen the 5 and then realized, wait, actually I don't like this anymore, and then removed it, or from any other reason, right? So anyway, I've chosen 5, and let's just start, shall we? Okay, so the first game you can see here is Oaxaca, Crafts of a Culture. So it's a good thing that I looked it up how to pronounce it, because otherwise I would have really butchered it. So Oaxaca is how you're supposed to pronounce it. And in this game, you are going to be part of the market. You're trying to sell items for as good a price as possible. Basically, like you say here, specialize in specific craft types to create more desirable handicrafts. And the player who has the most valuable collection of crafts in their market stall at the end of the final round is the winner. Now, in itself, it's not that super special. You see, the weight is only 2 out of 5. It gets a 7, but I like it mostly. I like the look of it mostly. Now, this is collector's edition, of course, but I like it mostly because the art is so beautiful. The player boards are beautiful. The components are beautiful. Now, I'm looking for something that's more in detail. No, that's not that special, of course. For example, yeah, just this card, which is textiles then. Just the colors. I love Mexican culture in general, even though I've never been to Mexico, but I love everything else about it. Here you see the decks and everything. I'm looking for the player boards as well, because they also looked nice. And I think it was originally a Kickstarter, but since then it's been very difficult to find. So here you see part of it. See, the dice look nice too. And I always love dice games for sure. And where was the picture here that has everything? Seems like, yeah. So I want it because of what it represents, I guess, you know, because I love Mexico and everything about it. If this had a different theme, maybe I wouldn't be as excited by it, let's put it like that. So it's on my wish list. It won't be in the top 10 of whatever I want most, but definitely, hopefully we'll have it one day. Yeah, so that is Oaxaca. Number 2 is Kick-Ass, the board game. Now, I thought the games themselves were okay. The games, what I'm saying. The movies were okay. I liked it, you know, but I wasn't like crazy about it or whatever. But then the board game, I thought, man, it's just going to be some bad IP game. There's so many of them now these days. So, but I was wrong, apparently. It gets a 7.4, which is good. The weight is okay. But in the reviews that I read here and some videos, a lot of people were super positive about it, calling it a hidden gem, calling it a must-buy if you can find it, and so on. And basically, the way the game works is you take control of one of the characters or more, 1, 2, 3, 4, as many as you want. And then you are trying to basically defeat one of the 5 different bosses. And it's a bit strange because it's challenging because as a character you have 5 cards and you can only use each card once per day. And the day has different phases and everything. So you have to really choose when to use what. You can see you have different locations, Wall Street, hospital, library, and so on. And there's also these yellow guys are all minions that will appear, but at the beginning of the game you can't really handle them very well because you can see the dice, right? There's several blanks, and there is a thread on BGG saying that they are too unforgiving. Like you can roll 12 dice and have all blanks. Actually reminded me a little bit of G.I. Joe. But anyway, and some people found it too difficult, you know. Although you can buy equipment cards to mitigate, to re-roll and do other stuff like that, or go to different places that might give you hits automatically. But what I wanted to say is, as a character, you're not just out there fighting. You need to train yourself, up your fitness, your morale needs to be high. You need to maintain your social life as well. You need to get money. So there's a lot of different things you need to juggle. So in general, they say when you play the game, you're supposed to build yourself up first and then go fight. Because if you're going to roll 3 dice and then expecting 3 hits, it's impossible. Well, it's possible, but you know, the odds are very low, just like G.I. Joe as well. So yeah, but they say it's really awesome, plays really well solo. And if you know anything about the series, it makes it even better. But yeah, there are a bunch of say it, house rules on BGG if you find it too difficult. But the fact that everybody, well, many people said like it's a hidden gem and so on, that seems very interesting to me. Miniatures in general, they just seem okay to me, although here it says amazing. But I guess these days, I think these would just be average, to be honest. But yeah, see if I can show you a player board as well. For example, here from Hit Girl, you can see on the top row is her how she's feeling at the moment, right? So it's from super happy to depressed. And if you're depressed, you can actually get hardships, which makes it a lot more difficult as well. The fitness level, and then yeah, a bunch of other stuff. She has a bulletproof vest, she has money. So yeah, that is Kick-Ass, the board game. Here are events. Yeah, that's true. The events, you have to try to stop them as well. But if you stop them, then you get rewards for stopping them, and so on. Yeah, so that one has risen up because for this video I did more research and I was like, see if I couldn't get my hands on it or whatever. But yeah, apparently also quite difficult to get though. So I mean, from like if you put it on, if you look it up on Amazon, you can't find it. So all right, then we have Tiny Towns. Kind of funny. Before I talk about Tiny Towns, when it first came out a long time ago, well, actually just 3 years ago, I totally thought it was this game, Triple Town, because it looks a lot similar. You see, this is the player board of Triple Town, and it's basically also just a square with these items. You build whenever you have 3, you can put them together and build something like small bushes become small trees and so on, big trees, and then you can also create houses and castles. Anyway, if you then look at fun game, by the way, if you then look at Tiny Towns, then you can see the board looks very similar because it's also just buildings and resources and everything there that you're mixing. Now, how does this game work? You will take, you have all these cards of buildings that you can build, and you have resources, and if you put the resources in a certain way, then you build that building. And then people keep building until at one point you can't anymore. The buildings have some special abilities, you get points and so on. I mean, that's just roughly going over the rules, right? Not in detail. This is really small. So yeah, a lot of people, this was really hyped when it first came out. So normally when something is really hyped, I kind of stay away from it. But then it kind of grew on me later on. So it's on my wish list, but I haven't bought it, and nobody has bought it for me. And with that, I mean my wish list is so long, I have no idea what people are going to buy because everything is in there randomly, right? So yeah, you can see it has a nice table presence, you know, if you're building stuff and everything. So yeah, okay, so that's Tiny Towns. Then you've already seen it. Next one is Fantastic Factories. Now on my list, it actually says Kickstarter edition because locally there's a shop who still has that, the whole Kickstarter set, everything in there. And yeah, basically this is an engine builder, right? You have some cards that give you resources, or you build some buildings that give you other stuff, and then those buildings you can use to create finished goods that are victory points. So you keep building stuff that works together, that feeds other stuff, that gives you victory points. So basically pure engine builder. Very simple, not difficult, looks nice, looks beautiful, nice table presence. More like a gateway game from what I understand. This says here, build factories, train your workers, manufacture as many goods as possible, because you roll your dice, and then depending on the roll, you can then assign them to buildings and do things, right? Because you can see it will have, yeah, you can just see the different values that you can put on things. Of course, these are not empty cards, but, and these are also all filled up. Come on, man, isn't there something that has empty spaces? Yeah, here, for example, on the left, and this is super zoomed in, there's a one here that wasn't filled in, so, you know, or covered. So yeah, just pure basic engine builder. I don't have many engine builders in my collection. Well, I guess you could say Terraforming Mars and so on, but, you know, like purely focused on it, and yeah. So yeah, that one, and then the last one, the final one, is Chakra. 6.9, gets the lowest score of all of them, but I put it there because it's pretty. It's very, very pretty. So for example here, this is, just see that looks very, very nice. And in Chakra, basically you're trying to, one thing that people found annoying is that the game uses all chakra related words, you know. So instead of just saying move a disc down, they'll give it a different name that has to do with the theme. But if you're not knowledgeable of the theme, you don't know much about the theme, you'll be like, oh, what is this word again? What is that again? So that makes it a little bit more difficult for people. But how does the game work? How does the game work exactly? You will you have some action dice that you can use to get some stones, put them on your board, and then the stones are supposed to go down to where the color is. So for example, if we go more to the right here, you can see here some stones are not in the correct color. Like the blue one has arrived, that's good, but the green one is going to have to keep going down, further down, or from down and up. I don't know why these two are here, but anyway, you're trying to get the stones in the correct space. And you can see here the actions where you can put it down, put some up, and so on. So that's why the other one got too far down probably. But you also have another action that you can immediately put the stones where they're supposed to be, but then you lose an action and so on. Roughly the rules again, but it seems pretty simple, very beautiful. Yeah. So it turns out the first 5 games that I have randomly selected are all pretty simple except for Kick-Ass. So 1.78, you can see it's low, 2 to 4 players, 30 minutes. 6.9 isn't great, and you can see it here as well the different rules. Take the 3 gems, take up to 3 gems from one column, place them on the top, and then you can lower them, or you can spend a token to put them in a better position, and so on, so on, so on. And when a player manages to align 5 of their chakras, the last turn is played before you perform the final scoring. So yeah, those are the first 5. Like, these videos will be nice, short, and crunchy. When I feel like them, I will make them, and hopefully you'll discover some new games that might be interesting to you. That's basically it. I guess I can stop here. These were the first 5. If you're interested in seeing more, let me know. I mean, I'll make it anyway, but it'll just be nice to know. So like it, subscribe it, share it, whatever you want. Okay? All right. I was Joachim. This was So Many Games, So Little Time, and I'll see you next time. Have an amazing day. Bye.